Okay, so
we have graded Arteta.
Yes,
We have graded
yes.
Klopp. Now, who
Thank
should
you.
we
Bye.
grade?
I buy.
Hey,
Can
must
you
be
go?
fair
The
lah.
door not there.
Must be fair.
I want to go. I want to go that side.
Let's grade both lah.
Both for that
Rangnick,
period of time.
yeah.
In this season,
Both lah.
how many managers do you have? Two. Okay. Ole for less than half a season, 10 games, and then
No lah,
Rangnick.
about
No lah, more lah.
More, is it?
More lah.
4 months, 5 months, maybe.
Okay,
More
4
lah.
months ah. Okay,
6 months. No,
16
No,
games.
16 games, 17 games, maybe.
wait. In a league year is 9 months, right? 3 months, 4 months.
3 months. Okay, 1/3. Right. Okay, so let's grade him for that period, and also let's grade Rangnick. Okay.
For that period.
Okay. Let's do a grade first.
Yeah.
What do you grade for? Don't say the reason. What is the grade for Ole?
Don't explain. Just the grade.
Yeah, just the grade.
No, really, I won't grade. I won't affect your
No,
grade.
don't
I won't.
degrade.
Yeah, I won't.
Don't degrade.
No, I won't. I won't give D. D grade.
A B plus,
Okay, B plus.
B
Okay.
plus.
What about Rangnick?
C.
And Rangnick has longer games. C. Okay, now the reason and maybe the difference. Why you give Rangnick C and why you
Ole.
give Ole B plus?
Isn't Rangnick a very experienced guy who has managed, who has introduced the Gen, pressing, all those stuff?
So expectations. were
Ole
higher.
was a PE teacher, was labor, this and that. If you ask me itself, still the same. There's no happy ending in getting an interim or caretaker.
Yeah, never spend money, no happy ending.
No, in terms of professionalism, I mean their performance, right? Why
The
you
team's
give?
performance.
What's
Yeah.
the difference? Why you give C and why you give B plus?
Yeah.
You see, even as a interim manager, you are at the age old enough to actually hold a commanding type of like general. I think Ole is a slow starter. I think not too sure whether he follows Fergie. But Fergie also starts slow. He pick up is when the crash of the December Christmas. That's where he take points and pick up points. He can draw with very lousy team, small team, but he pick up big points at the Christmas New Year period. So if you look at the way it's being handled, I think it's very wrong. You suddenly ask the interim manager come in, and if let's say January, if he feel that he need to buy and the board don't allow him buy, is what Rangnick has throw the dirty laundry, which is a bit not right in a way. You shouldn't throw these things in the media because it will show. I know the board, the Glazers are very bad in many ways, but it is still not right. And suddenly after 6 months, you expose, you show a bit of talent itself. National team can't approach you. You're like, it's okay, we don't have crash, but eventually you have crashed with your international duties, and so forth. But Ole is very unfortunate. I felt that Ole should stay. It shouldn't have any interim manager come in just in between like that. Why I give him B is because that last 2 seasons he has performed way beyond his expectation or his standard itself. So it's just that because it's slow start, people is eyeing for his head, and suddenly no one want to come to United. Maybe I should say that United is the bad shape itself, and finally we have that Ten Hag at the moment itself. But the thing is, you shouldn't sack someone in the middle of the season and say, we are appointing an interim manager. As I always say, Ten Hag can be bought over. If you can buy players with certain money itself, might as well buy a manager over, buy their clause, get his team over. Give Ajax some time, for example, you want to buy over him. Start all afresh. Now maybe this season won't be so bad, even with Pogba, Lingard, even without Greenwood. I believe that Ten Hag might bring up more youth, to replace Pogba. Because his mind is not there. Lingard also maybe his mind is not there. But you can bring up more players with
But
passion.
why do you think Ole was sacked? What was the reason that he was sacked?
Expectations?
Yeah, likely expectation because it's started very slowly and very badly, and the last 2 seasons we were on the second position. So I think like United fans, with CR7 we should be like aiming for. I think starting of season when
With CR7.
after CR7 came in, he was sacked. Right?
But that was in January, right? Isn't it?
No. CR7 is the before the first season, the first window ended, he was being signed. The last day of the season.
Last day of season.
So basically, whether he can fit or not, okay, but no matter what, he's still the coach. CR7, no matter how throw tantrum itself, I think he still respect the coach itself. Internally, I felt that maybe the problems lie with Pogba, with this.
No, let's talk about manager.
Yeah. That's
So
how
he couldn't control.
he couldn't control the dressing room. It may split into three.
Ole, right? It's Ole, right?
Yeah,
Rangnick
Ole.
also couldn't control.
Because Rangnick don't have the respect that
For
the
as an
player.
interim.
Yeah, the
So
players.
it's not Rangnick's fault lah, actually.
It's not Rangnick's fault, but as a senior personnel in the game itself, shouldn't he knows how to handle such thing?
I think this is the expectation that even like him, he has. You have a big CV. You are the father of Gen pressing. You know, the guy who actually guide Tuchel and Klopp, right, for Gen pressing. Granted that these two expanded their own
Wings.
wings and they became masters of their own Gen pressing way lah. But I think his CV is big. People are hyping it up, and the people who are hyping it up are the people who thinks that he suits United. So at that point of time, when he didn't perform that well, it makes sense that a lot of things doesn't go.
What is
properly.
your grade for Rangnick?
Rangnick, unfortunately, I will give him a C also, same as him.
I would give a C as well.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, I have starting off. I believe I'm not very hyped up when Rangnick was being hired.
Yeah.
I
You were
read.
You were a bit mellow.
I'm not hyped up.
Of course, you don't know.
I do not know who is he, to
Yeah.
be honest. But I see, let's see how.
For me, why I grade him a C is that he comes in, right, with his huge CV, like you say. But I always believe that whatever you see on the pitch is the result of whatever happens
Back
in
end.
the training ground and the back end. And like I say, I'm not happy with Unai, and I'm happy with Arteta because you see progress. There is change.
Yeah,
When there's a new manager and there's a new coaching staff group, a team of coaching staff, you see progress, you are happy as a fan.
Yeah.
Now when Rangnick came in, I'm as an outsider fan, not outsider fan. I'm a Arsenal fan watching, looking at it.
You won't say outsider.
Rival fan,
Call it
rival
rival
fan.
fan.
No,
rival
say
fan.
just a fan of the game.
Fan of the game, right?
Yeah.
I don't see, first, there's no change in tactic, strategy, formation that says there is a change. There is a new manager in town and there is a change. Second is, like you say, there's no youngsters that he brought in. There's no players that he changed. Who changed and became better under him?
Maguire.
Who?
Maguire, he do a ballet.
Maguire became worse.
Yeah.
I mean, no player became better during his regime. Even though it's a short time. You know, sometimes small things can change.
Yeah.
Attitude
Yeah.
or skills or positioning or not. To me, I don't see any of this on the field.
Bruno got worse.
Bruno go.
I want
yes.
to add this point lah. To me, it's like I want to add this point. I think C grade fits Rangnick because of the hype that he has when he comes into United. But ultimately, right, I feel that majority of the blame cannot go to him. He may get a C point, but a lot of it is because of circumstances.
See for circumstances.
C for circumstances. Because
The
if
board.
you give Ole, who has been there for so many years, and Ole cannot control players like Pogba and all that, who gives problems year in, year out on the back room, and then of course players like Lingard who has to loan out and all that.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many underlying problems that is there in United, right? You bring in a manager like Rangnick who comes in, and then the board doesn't support, which he has to go out to the media.
Yeah, and say he needed,
Yes, he has to say, I want to buy this player, they are not going to buy. If it's me, right, I will say it also. You can say that, oh, it's not professional. But the thing is, even other managers who are doing that, you say, yeah, he's being truthful. So it's fair for Rangnick because you have the pressure by the board, you have the pressure by the fans, but you have no way out because the players are not playing for you, and I want to buy a player that can play for me, but the board is not supporting. Let me finish first. So basically, he has nothing on his hands to make the season better. To me, he only has whatever is on the table, and these things are half rotten. So how can he make a team perform?
But I think
Whatever
it's
he
a
has.
C because he makes a very good point. Bruno got worse. The energy and the spirit got worse.
Yeah, it all boils down to because he cannot improve anything. That's the problem.
No, he can tell people that, okay, well, this is just for me speculation. It's just a theory, right? He can come in if he's really a good manager, player manager, right? Or motivator, right? Or he knows his stuff theory-wise and all that, right? He's a director and all that. He comes in and say, even though I'm an interim manager, he can say those words around something like that. Even though I'm here just for a short while, what is your pride? Your pride is at stake. That kind of thing he can say to the player. You know? He can turn things around and say, no lah, it's okay for me to be interim manager. But he can say the right words to motivate players. I feel.
And
But
plus,
what makes us think that he didn't, and the players didn't listen?
and plus,
That's the problem
because
because
he can speak well. That's the thing. He can communicate well with the players. That's the one thing. And if you say that, oh, the board don't buy in players, isn't the hype, like the way he coached is quite as good as Ferguson? Where's the youth? I don't Fergie sell half of the squad and bring in the class of 92. Why can't he bring in
The first time
You
when
compare to
Lampard,
Ferguson.
the first time when Lampard came in to Chelsea, okay, that's the only part that I want to compliment him. He took in the youths because youth saw him as a legend, right? So they would fight for him, right? So if Rangnick couldn't find players to play for him, like you say, why can't we go to the youth?
But this
Ole
is the problem.
did though.
But
Ole
this is the
did.
problem. This is where I think this is one of the reasons why I think I support him when he say interim manager is not right, and it makes sense because if you are interim manager, I won't let you touch the youth. Why would I want to do that? When I have my youth team and all that, right? I don't need to let you touch. Just play whatever you have. What if the board is the one who decides this?
Okay, now you are right because I just want to add that Lampard was from the youth system.
Yep.
He was coaching the youth system,
Yep.
so the youth knows him.
And-
Even Duncan Ferguson, I was thinking about Duncan Ferguson
Yes.
coming in and becoming successful for that short period of time for Everton. I think he was teaching the youth as well. Okay,
Because these guys are also brought in, like Duncan Ferguson is an interim, but for these guys like Ole and Lampard, they are brought in as a permanent manager, and they are there for a few seasons, whereas Ralph Rangnick is only there for slightly more than half a season. And
So maybe-
what he's
yeah.
taking care is
okay.
I think it's rotten
Let's
already lah.
give him ungraded.
I think
C lah, cannot lah.
C lah.
What's ungraded?
Yeah, it's just that
Subpass.
he basically failed this test, but I don't blame him. It's like I as a fan, right? As a football fan, I don't blame him. It's like a lot of Manchester United fans will scold him and blame him. I feel like actually majority of it is not his fault because he has no power, he has no support. He's being given a bunch of players who half don't want to play in the team, half wants to go out already. The other half is just waiting for the next manager. I got nothing.
Why not get Rangnick in? Okay, as a consultant, consult, advise Ole. Ole have to listen because he's someone like a director, to oversee everything. And that's where maybe United won't be as bad as now, like fighting for
That's true.
Europa. But suddenly you sack Ole and interim, the word came out like, the first word I told him,